Hey guys, it's Lady D coming back with a Deism. Today I wanted to talk to you about bridging gaps. And when I talk about bridging gaps, I mean with your children, or with those children that are close to you. Because some of us don't have children, right? Well, I do, but some people do not have children, but they have children that look up to them. So let's talk about bridging the gap between generations, and how this generation need to know that they have heroes and people that they can look up to as well. You know, we had, well, I don't want to date myself, but I've already done that, right? Like, we've had Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and recently we've had more people stand up in this generation. But like, where are the people in our children's lives? Who are they gonna look at and look up to? And in reality, I think it starts at home. It should begin with us. You know, I believe I've done that with my own child, and finding me more. And I constantly tell you guys about the different programs that we have through Thrive Source, and finding me more is for the youth and young adult. So that organization actually got started because my child was going through puberty. We were in a church and there was no program for anybody her age. She was a tween ager, so right before the teenagers, but no longer a kid. And there was nothing there in the church for her, and there was no group, and they were going through so many changes, and that was the time frame where I found that their minds were just like sponges, and they were just absorbing anything that was thrown their way. Their bodies were changing, their images were changing, how they felt about themselves were changing, and there was nobody there to acknowledge that. So what I did was I started a group, and a safe place where they could ask questions about their bodies, and you know, like what was going on with them, the changes, and how they were feeling. And the parents were always promoted or are requested to be at those meetings, because I wanted them to hear what their children were asking. But not only that, I wanted them to have some input, because when your child sees you answering those kind of questions, you know, they realize that you are a source or a resource for them. So one of the things that our children need to know, not only that we are a resource or a source for them, but that we are a champion for them, that we will fight for them, and that we love them. And that comes through communication. And they can only trust that you will be there for them if they know that they can communicate with you openly and honestly without you downrating them or downplaying what they're saying. Their feelings have to matter. You have to treat them like young adults and children, and age appropriately, but at the same time, don't just say I'm your parent and you do what I say because I said so. No, listen, because they are human, and they have hearts, and they have minds, and they have thoughts, and we need to shape the way our children think, and we need to shape the way our children feel. And if they don't feel like they can come to those closest to us, to them, then they'll go to those outside of the realm of the family. And we don't want that. We don't want drug dealers, and we don't want people who don't believe the same thing we believe. Like, I don't believe in sex before marriage, and I don't believe in breaking up families, and I don't believe in, you know, little young children and older people. I don't believe in those things. So, you know, I want to make sure that the message that I want portrayed to my daughter and conveyed to my daughter is being given to her across the board, to all the people that I have in her circle of influence. So we need to learn to listen to our children, let them know that first and foremost, we are the first authority that they can come to, that they can trust that we will fight for them, because they're not old enough to fight for themselves, and they need to know that they have a champion and somebody who will stand up for them and not just stand against them every time. So one of the things that I wanted to just share with you was, you know, my relationship with my daughter became so close when she knew that she can come to me about any situation, whether it was school related, whether it was personal, whether it was, you know, she could have been mad at me at that moment, but she knew she could tell me about it and we would talk about it. And the thing is, you have to honor their feelings, and you have to be able to be that person that they can be open with and honest with, because if you're not, then you're going to lose your children to the world, and you don't want to do that. So bridge the gap, build a bridge to build the gap, bridge the gap between you and your children, and let them know that they have an advocate at the house, that they have an advocate at home that they can trust, that they can go to, and somebody who will stand for them and when they can't stand for themselves, somebody that will hold them while they cry, and somebody who will build them up when they're down, and all of the things that we're supposed to be to our children. So I just want to encourage you. You know, the last few days I've been talking about decisions you make and how they affect those closest to you. Yesterday I talked to you about how you feel about yourself and what's your negative or positive self-talk. Now I'm talking to you about how you talk to your kids. Let them know that they are valued and they're valuable to you. Let them know that you care about what they feel and what they're going through, because we don't always know. Some of our children are being bullied and we don't even know about it. Some of our children are feeling like they're not important and we don't know about it. You don't know until you have the conversation. So I beg you, have the conversation. Open the door. Bridge the gap between you and your children, and realize that that's your role, first of all. But secondly, they'll learn to trust you, and they'll come to you more, and you'll find that your relationship will grow stronger and stronger. You guys have a wonderful night and be blessed. I hope your weekend is wonderful, and just be encouraged. I pray that your lives are blessed and that all is well, and that everything that I say to you, you know that I'm coming from a place of heart and love. And I pray that your relationships with your children get stronger and stronger and better and better. God bless you all. Have a wonderful night. Bye.